Okay guys, so rather than jumping into my iPad, I want to show you guys my computer and how this actually looks and builds out, and I thought that this would be a better way to do it. Okay, so for most product pages, right, product pages are also kind of continuously and interchanged with landing pages, right? So if someone's referring to a landing page or a product page, just understand that more or less it's going to be the same, okay? Now, the reason why we design certain pages in this is, like I said before, we want to deploy some conversion rate optimization tactics, right, to increase the conversion rate. So how do we do that, and what is the process? So the first process is always looking at the buy box. So whenever you're looking at a Shopify store, right, they always open with the buy box, and the buy box kind of looks like something like this, right? It has images here, like nice little images, and forgive my drawings here. Forgive my drawings, but it's going to be pretty much people using your product or your product images. So there are a few different images that you definitely want to use, and I want to focus here first because it's we as humans, we as customers, right? We are very visual creatures, so we want to make sure that these images are optimized so that it really makes an impact as soon as they land on the page, right? And pretty much grabs their attention. Okay, so when you're selling a product online, it's very important, as you guys must already know, to understand your avatar. And the reason why understanding your avatar is so important is because the images here that are conveyed in the buy box, right, also have to resonate with your audience. So, for example, if I am selling products for dogs, there is no way I'm going to add images of cats using my product in the buy box, right? Why? Because, well, cat people and dog people are completely different, right? It's not my avatar. So, to put it into a more real life scenario, if you are selling, let's say, for example, dresses for women, right? You do not want to have men in there, right? You want to have your ideal audience. How old? And be very kind of. Be very aware and intentional about the models that you use, right? If your avatar is in the 25 to 55 range, make sure you have an assortment of models that kind of represent your avatar in that, right? So that's what these images are represented. Now, let me talk to you guys about the different types of images that you generally want to have. Okay, so that's what we're going to have here. And this video is going to be a little bit different, right? I'm just talking you guys through every element of the landing page that you need to have, okay? So the different types of images that you want to have is, number one is the standard e-commerce photos, right? So these photos are just your product photos on a standard white background, okay? That's just what you need. Number two, you want happy customers that fit your avatar using or wearing your product. Okay, this is very, very important. Next, with you also want to show your product in action, right? So product in action. This kind of coincides with number two, right? But you want to show like every element of the product, right? Because when we're selling online, it's very difficult for people to know every aspect of your product unless you show them specifically. And the easiest way I can explain this to you guys is if I was to look into the camera right now, I would ask you guys, how tall am I, guys? And I actually want a response. Well, honestly speaking, it's impossible for you to know because I don't tell you that those pieces of information that are important to that question, right? So same kind of concept applies to e-commerce. So if we don't show like the little minute details of certain things that we're really thinking that this is what's going to set my product apart from all my competitors, then your customers will not know, and as a result, they will not add the value to your product. And when they look at the price point and they look at your product, they'll be like, it's not really worth it, and they're going to click off. Okay, so you want to show the product in action. So be detailed here, right? Detailed. Number four, if you have great product packaging, right, show them your product packaging and unboxing footage as well, plus product packaging. So these are the types of photos that you want to use. If you guys also want, right, you can definitely add a video of the product in use as well, like, or like a brand style, really kind of choreographed kind of video showing the product being in use. Okay, and we're going to go through a few examples of this in the future as well. Okay, so just bear with me. All right, so those are the images in the buy box. Okay, now what we want to do is, and let me just name it the buy box because it's important. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to go and include the headline, right? This is like the emotive headline plus or slash the product, name, right? So you want to have this because you want people to understand exactly what they've jumped onto the page for, right? Especially if they've jumped on from social media. Okay, so we want to be very clear, direct here. We want to make it as emotive as possible. We want to grab their attention. Okay, so a lot of people, what they do is, you want to make sure that if someone sees an ad for a dress, then you want to say in the headline, the product name is the dress, right? And you want to kind of like spruce it up a little bit, right? But this isn't going to be, this isn't a make it or break it, but just make it very simple, okay? Remember that principle, keep it simple, stupid, right? Keep it simple, okay? This is very, very important. Next, what we're going to have is we're going to have our price, right? So you're going to have your price. So let's just say we're selling it for $95. Okay, something like this. Then what you want to do is you can do a few things here. What I like to do is I like to interchange between the two, and I like to split test. But what I generally have is some text, text about the product, like elevator pitch, right? Just a few words, what the product is, how great it is, etc., etc., right? At maximum, right, 2 to 3 lines. Okay, you don't want to make this too big, right? Because you want to make it short and sweet, and it needs to fit in the buy box. Okay. Now, next, what you want to do is you want to have, or the other thing that you can split test is actually dot points, right? So you can go here and you can have, for example, you can have like talking about the main USPs, right? USP 1, USP 2, USP 3, right? Risk reversal, meaning 30-day money back guarantee, right? You can test one or the other. Okay, you don't need to have both. Definitely don't have both, right? But I just wanted to give you guys the option of this, so you can definitely split test between these two. All right. Now, next thing that you want to do is you want to have what we have is the call to action button, right? So you go and I'm going to create a call to action button and potentially a quantity button as well. So this is going to be the quantity thing where they're going to choose how many. Okay, so quantity. And then we're going to have a call to action. Now, generally with a call to action, guys, this is where you're getting them to add to cart, right? You want them to actually take an action. So that's why the name is called call to action. Now, with this, generally, what I like to have is I like to make sure that the button icon, the button image, or sorry, the button color is very, very highly visible. Okay, so that's why I like to use a green. You might want to use a red. You might want to use a blue. Right, just make sure it's very highly visible and it's a different color from your main brand colors, right? Because if you're using, a lot of orange in the images, orange for the headline, and then as a result, your button is also going to be orange, what actually happens is that the button, the call to action, loses the impact that you want them to feel, right? Because they're going to be like, oh, they're going to scan the page and all they can see is orange. Rather, if everything else is orange and your call to action is a bright green, that makes it really stand out like a sore thumb. Okay, so make sure that this is the call to action. Make sure it's bright green. The next thing that I like to generally have is some pretty much secure checkout kind of icons, right? So let me just quickly take some of these, and this is just Visa, MasterCard, all of this kinds of stuff. Let me just copy and paste this thing right here, right? Something like that, right? I also split test between a risk reversal as well. So I will quickly add another option for you guys. So right? What you can have is 100% money back guarantee. Okay. So you can split test between the two. And then if you're actually going with 100% money back guarantee, right, it's going to look something like this. So let me just move this out of the way. It's going to look something like this. So you want to right underneath the the call to action button, guys, because when they are making the decision to choose to go on to actually buying this product, you want to assure them that if anything happens, right, you're going to give them their money back. Okay, so that's why I like to give you guys the option of split testing. Okay, so I'm going to put this here as an option for you guys to test. Okay, so but test one or the other. Either way works. Okay, either way will be approved by myself. All right, now the next thing that we wanted to is the last section of the buy box, and this is going to be a very important thing. This is called social proof. Okay, now social proof is very, very important because we inherently as humans, again, similar to how the fact that we are visual creatures, right, we are also very social creatures, and as a result, right, we do not ever want to be the first to buy anything, right? We don't want to be the first to take an action. We want to we naturally want to follow the herd, right? And kind of be a little bit more safe in that way, right? So what we're going to have here is a testimonial, right? So this is a testimonial, right? Try to, again, keep it 1 to 3 lines. So I'm just going to go copy here. Testimonials are great. And our social proof, right? I'm just writing this so you can see why it's important to make it 3 lines only. Okay, so something like this. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to do it like that. Boom. Boom, like that. And then you can have something like Josh, you know, loving customer of Josh's products. Something like this, right? So just make sure you extend it out, right? So see how, like, if it's very like 4 lines, it kind of looks really ugly. So rather, what I want to do is I want to stretch it out so that it kind of goes down to the 2, and it looks way better. Okay. Now this circle, as you guys could, may have guessed already, this is where you're gonna have the smiley face of the happy customer, right? Smiling. Right? You don't need to have them showing or holding the product. You just need to have them, it looks a natural photo of them smiling. They also need to be related to your avatar, right? So if you're selling things for women over 50, don't go and put a baby here. It will just not make sense, and there's going to be a disconnect between your audience and your product. Now, the last part of your social proof is going to be your reviews, okay? So here, what we're going to do is I'm going to quickly add in some reviews like this, right? So generally it's either underneath the price or, yeah, just underneath the price, right? And let's just quickly extend this out. So these are obviously stars, right? And then as a rule of thumb, I highly recommend for you guys to always have at least 15 reviews, right? I don't really mind how you guys get them, right? You can import them from AliExpress or whatever, right? Or go out and get your own reviews from your family members and your friends, right? But you need to have at least 15 reviews, okay? Because anything under that, it's not going to do that much. 15 reviews, right? So something like this. Great. That looks good. So this is, guys, just the buy box, okay? So as you can see, there's a lot of conversion rate optimization tactics that we've used. Let's quickly run through them really quickly. Images to grab attention, right? They need to be relevant to the avatar. We want to be as detailed as possible in terms of what features, what benefits that your product actually provides and comes with, right? So be as detailed as possible here. We want to pretty much leave no stone unturned. Secondly, we want to make sure that our headline, our product name, whether it be whatever it is, we want to make sure it's super simple, very easy to understand. And when people jump over from an ad, when they see the headline, they're going to be like, yep, this is the product that I saw on that ad. All right. Next, we're going to have the price. Then we're going to have social proof, the first element of social proof. The next section is going to be just an elevator pitch about your product, maximum 2 to 3 lines. Or subsequently, you're going to have bullet points, right? You're using certain icons, and you want to focus on your main unique selling propositions or your benefits here. So USP or benefit 1, USP or benefit 2, USP or benefit 3, and then finally a risk reversal, which is pretty much 100% money back guarantee or 30-day 100% satisfaction guarantee, something like that, right? You want to make sure that they feel like even if they go ahead and purchase, if something happens, you're going to take care of them. You're not going to scam them out of their money, all right? Next, you're going to have a quantity button just for them to choose products. Then you're going to have a call to action button, right? And we want to here make sure that it is very, very, very easy to notice, right? So highly visible color, and it's separate from your brand colors or the main brand, the color that you're using on your page. Next, you want to have some sort of security. You want to assure them that their payments are going to be secured, and there's also a little bit of risk reversal as well, right? So this is pretty much just assurance for the customer. So 100% money back guarantee as just a bit of text underneath the call to action, or you can have the these are called the secure badges, right? You can have this as well. Next, you're going to have the second piece of social proof, right? You're going to have your avatar, just a face. Make sure it's natural. Don't go out and get a model photo from the internet. That's going to be something really painful, and it's not going to look so good, right? And then have your testimonial here as well. The next thing, and I just realized, one thing that you also want to probably try and have is pretty much a bundle, pretty much a section for your bundles. Okay, so let me just quickly show you guys what that looks like, right? And this is where you're going to choose your variants. Okay, so let me see if I can move some of these things down so it looks a little bit better. Okay, there we go. So for example, if we wanted to choose just one product, right? If you have a variant 2 where you're having a 2-product bundle and you give them some percentage off. So what this is actually a drop down. It's a drop down menu, right? And what they're going to see is they're going to see all the different variants and the bundles that you have. Okay, so generally you can have single, double, trio. Right, that's the naming that I like to have, and I like to, every single time they purchase 2 or 3, I give them a bigger discount. So for product number 1, I only give them no discount. Product number 2, I give them 15% off, and product number 3, I give them 20% off. And the reason why I do this is because when you guys are running advertisements, right, the cost of acquiring a customer is very expensive, and as a result, what we want to do is try to entice customers to go out and buy more, right? Spend more, save more, right? So this is kind of like a psychological trick that we use, not a trick, but a tool that we use, right, to get them to purchase more, okay? So this is very important as well, all right? So let's continue on, and let me walk you guys through the different elements of your web page. Let me move this over here, and you guys will get access to this link. You will need to sign up for the Envisions app, and that's just unfortunately just the system that I use, right? But don't sweat it too much, okay? All right. Let's go to the next section. So the next section, again, is a little bit of more social proof, right? A social proof, or like some sort of, I guess, assurance for the customer, right? So you can do it 2 ways. Let me show you how it looks. So it's going to be a long row, right? A long row. So this is when you're using a page builder. This is where rows and stuff are going to come into play. When you're using page builders, the buy box carousel, right, is pretty much automatically populated in terms of it's going to have the headline, the price, and I guess the product details. But you're going to need to include all of these additional things that we've provided, and you'll see that in future videos. Okay, but this section down here is again just another section of social proof. Social proof. And or if you have no social proof yet, right, you can have like your main USP icons, right? And I'm going to show you how to do that. So what we like to do here is if, for example, your product has been featured in a publication, right, I like to have, as seen in, as featured in, right, and then it's going to have the logos of the publication, right? So it's going to be like this: logo 1. Well, I'll just do logo actually. Not sure what happened. There we go. Logo. All right. So a lot of people do this. It's a tactic that a lot of e-com guys do, right? We just generally have like 3 or 4. Okay. Now, if you guys haven't had publications set up for your product, I would recommend you actually don't do this, right? But if you guys have been publicized, then definitely do this, okay? Because it is a great way of social proof. Now, if you guys don't have social proof, the other way that you can do this is, I'm going to put it here, or you can actually have the same section, but you're going to talk about your main benefits, okay? So let me quickly show you guys what this is. This is pretty much a section where you have icons, right? So you're going to have icons. And the reason why you have these icons is so you can really deliver a lot of information very quickly to your customers, right? Because a lot of people don't actually scroll down all the way to the bottom of the page. Now, at this point, you want to show them like why they should be interested. You're trying to grab their attention, right? You're trying to pique their interest, right? So this is what you do. So you have, for example, you go out and create your main USPs, your USP 1, 2, 3, right? What you're going to do is you're going to create a icon that is related to that specific USP, okay? And then you're going to create, you're going to have it here, okay? So you're going to have the icon. In order to create the icon, guys, you can either go to iconpicker.com, right? Or what I'd like to do is I like to hire my graphic designer. I get my graphic designer to create icons for me that represent the main USP. So for example, and I'm going to show you guys a quick example of this. Let me just move over to this brand right here. Just give me one moment, guys. This one right here. Okay, so this is the brand that I'm talking about, like this. See how they've got these section right here, and see how they've gone ahead and created these icons. Okay, so this is important. If you guys don't have this social proof, section, right, definitely just include something like this. Okay, so this is going to be USP icon 1, right? We're going to do it again here. I'm just going to call it USP actually. And I'm just going to trust that you guys understand what I'm talking about. We're going to extend this out. And what we like to do is we like to have headline. And then underneath that, we want to have 1 to 2 lines elaborating on the headline. So on the USP, right? And again, guys, just to show you guys an example of this, right? I'm going to quickly jump over to Tushy, and I just think that they do just a great job at this, right? So for example, this one here is the stack of money, right? That's the icon that they've had created. Save your money. Tushy helps you save thousands of dollars over time on toilet paper consumption. Great statement, right? It explains what it means, right? In a very short and succinct way. So you want to do something like that as well. Okay, I'm going to change this to about 1 to 3 lines. Okay, copy like that. Okay, so let's continue through. The next section that you want to do is kind of like show them how it works. Like make sure it's easy for them to understand. Okay, so what we like to do is I like to have a section like the following, right? I will create another box right here. So these are all rows, guys, okay? So what we do is we will have a 3-column row this time, right? Where we will have step 1. Oh, sorry. First, we're going to have a headline, right? We're going to have a headline saying something like, how does it work, right? And get kind of creative here. Yeah, how does it work? Something like this. Right? And then you want to just show, for example, step 1, step 2, and step 3. Okay, so you're going to have something like that, and you want to have a little bit of text underneath. You can either do 1 or 2 things. You can either have a little bit of text underneath, so like Lorem ipso, just some gibberish, right? I'm just going to copy and paste so that it gets to 3 lines to explain the step, right? Or you can have an image or a GIF that shows how it works, right? Or you can have both, right? Both work too. Okay. There you go. So that's the next section, right? Because we want to make sure that people understand how easy it is, all right? And then once this section is done, actually, what we'd like to do is I'm going to go up here. And again, we're going to take this section right here, which is our call to action and our buttons, okay? Because we want to make sure that our call to action and our buttons are following our customers as they progress down our page, okay? So something like that, right, like that. Okay, so if people, because what's going to happen, right, is as they progress down your page, there are at different points at which they're going to be convinced to actually go ahead and buy your product. Okay, so this is really, really important. Okay, now the next section, right, is the features and the benefits. So your USPs. This is where you really drive home the point, right? You're really kind of, this again is just you're really pushing the interest that they have for your particular product. Okay, so this section is going to be probably one of the biggest sections of your page, right? And this is where I'm going to show you guys how to make it really easy. So whenever I think of these sections right here, I always think of it as the rule of 3. Okay, so let me kind of explain to you guys what this means. So let's say, for example, you're going to have an image. Okay, you're going to have an image, and then with this image, right, remember guys, we as humans, what are we? We are very visual creatures, okay? We get a lot of information from the visuals, right? We don't like to read, right? Especially in a fast-paced world, we don't like to read, okay? So the image is number 1, right? That's the number 1 out of 3. The next one is going to be the headline, or the US, so like feature 1, USP 1, or benefit 1. Okay, so let's say, for example, it helps people to really get out of pain quickly. So you want to have this to be super short. The headline needs to grab attention, and people need to understand exactly when they read it what this section is about. Okay, then what we're going to have is a few lines underneath it, and again, I'm going to take this gibberish section right here. I'm going to copy and paste here, okay? Because we want to just show that we want to have about 2 to 3 lines, right? And I'm just going to copy and paste so that it kind of looks like it's actual text, all right? So let me kind of explain to you guys the rule of 3 here, okay? So like I said, the image is going to really kind of grab their attention first, right? Then they're going to go over to the headline and kind of reaffirm what your image is telling them, right? Because they're going to have some sort of idea, but they're not going to 100% know. So the second rule is pretty much making sure that your headline, feature 1, USP 1, benefit 1 is very clear and concise, right? Lose weight fast, right? Or whatever, right? Whatever the benefit is, okay? The section underneath, which is the third element, is where you elaborate on the benefit. So this is where you wrap it all up together, okay? So these all 3, they work in unison, right? They work in unison to convince the customer that they actually need a product like this, okay? So they're going to look at the image, they're going to look at the headline, right? Then they're going to read the image, okay? So that's the rule of 3, okay? Now this is really, really important for you guys to understand, because a lot of people miss this, okay? Now, like I kind of, just to make it this super easy, what we want to do is we want to then repeat it with your other benefits for your product, okay? Now, obviously, this is not how it should look. Let me just quickly move things around. Just for design elements, just do it like this, like that, okay? And the rule of 3 still applies here. And now when you're using a page builder, right, it's very important to understand, right, that this here, this box here is called a row. Okay, this is called a row, right? And it's going to be a 2-column row. Why is it 2 columns? It's because there's 2 different sections. This is column 1, right? Column 1. Everything to the left of the red line is column 1, right? And everything to the right of the red line is column 2. Okay? I hope that makes sense, guys. Now, once we've gone and talked about our main USPs and really just sold our products, right? Talking about the benefits that the customer is going to feel and get from this product, right? We want to then, again, I hope you guys got it. We want to include our call to action button, like so, because we have now progressed further down the page, and as a result, we want to make sure that customers know, and if they've been convinced, they have easy access to our to actually buy the product. Okay. Now, one other thing that I generally like to do is actually include the social, like add some social proof here as well, kind of like as a header, right? So that they know like how many reviews there are. Okay, you want to show that. Okay, and let me just take this here and copy it so that you guys can see it down here as well. Perfect, like that. All right, so now once this is done, and guys, pretty much this is good enough, but I want to take it a little bit further. Remember, guys, how I told you guys, how tall am I? All right, you don't know. So what I want to make sure, and I want to leave no stone unturned. So as a result, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another row, right? Another row, another 2-column row always. And on the left-hand side or the right-hand side, you can interchange between the two, right? What I like to do is, for example, let's just, because up here we've had the image on the left, we're going to make the image on the right. And here it's going to show an image of everything, like a top-down shot of all of the elements on your page, right? Or sorry, all of the elements that they're going to receive in the box. So what I like to do, right, is with my photographer, and we have our own studio here in Houston. What we like to do is we like to set it up. We have the nice box, right? So let me just show you really quickly, and forgive my drawings again. So we're gonna have like a nice box here, right? Product number 1, right? The parts, right? The second thing. So pretty much it's going to be everything inside the box sprawled out. So it's a really nicely looking package, right? So we really make sure that this is nicely curated and it looks really, really good so that people know exactly what they're going to get. All right. So here again, it's kind of like the rule of thirds. What's in the box, right? So like this. Headline again. Bam. We want to also have like dot points here to show like what is in the box, right? You're gonna get let's say for example you're gonna get a waist trimmer 2.0. You're gonna get a physical book of 50 recipes, and you're also going to get a free shaker bottle, right? Something like this, right? So you're pretty much telling them what's inside of the package, right? Again, rule of threes, guys. They're going to see the image, curiosity. They're going to check the headline, what's in the box. Okay, well, this is where I'm going to know exactly what I get inside the box, right? And then the section underneath is going to tell them what they actually get, okay? Great. So I hope that makes sense, guys. Now, let's continue through, and we're nearly done. Right, this is where we kind of put the icing on the cake. So all of this is all conversion rate optimization tactics that help to convince the customer that they need or want this product. Now, so what we're doing now is trying to create desire. So another thing that a human psychological trick, well, not a trick, but a tool that we use is social proof. So I don't know if you guys have ever, if you guys have kids or anything, or you've had siblings, I'm sure that you would know that if you give a sibling or one child a toy and you don't give the other child a toy, naturally the child that doesn't get a toy, they're going to get jealous, and as a result they will be upset, right? Because people don't like missing out. People don't like being the one that doesn't have it. So this section here is all going to be about social proof. Okay, so there are two elements of social proof that I like to use here, right? Let me just make it look a little bit nicer and presentable, and this is where we like to do it. So don't just take it from us, like something like don't just take our word for it. You know, obviously these are all cliche kind of words, so guys, make sure that when you do this, make sure you kind of come up with your own original content, right? Now, this is where it gets fun, right? And we want to kind of just play around with this. Similar to the images up here, you know how we had a testimonial here? What we're going to do is we are going to have all the assortments of 3 different types of our avatar that have purchased and love our product. Okay, like something like this. So as you guys have guessed it, this is another row, but now it's a 3-column row. Why? Because there's 3 different sections in the vertical aspect. All right, now let's continue through. What we want to do is, in this social proof side, we just don't want to have their pictures, right? We want to make sure that there's 5 stars, and obviously don't have these, you know, amateur looking stars like I do, but I hope you guys understand what I'm doing here, right? So you have the stars, and then you have the kind of the text, right? You want to have the actual review here. Let me just get rid of one line. Okay, there we go. We kind of want to have their review, and we want to try to have as honest reviews as possible, guys. We are not in the game of deception, right? So this is kind of what we want to have. Okay, now once we've got this, right, now we're pretty much at the end of it all, right? So we're nearly there. So thank you for, you know, sticking around with me. I know that this is going to be a very long video, but it is very, very important. Okay, this is one of the most important things for your page. Okay, so let's continue through. So hang on, guys. All right, this is where we want to have our review plugin. Right, so if you guys are using judge.me, Luke's, Ali reviews, whatever you're using, right, this is where you're going to have all of your reviews. So your review plugin, right, and like you might have guessed, right, this is where all of your reviews are going to be visible. Okay, so just for, you know, just because I can't create it, I'm just gonna go take some of this. So for example, like this, I'm gonna take this guy and take this guy right here. Okay, so I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to insert it right here. Boom. This is exactly how it should look. Okay, now obviously remember, guys, you want to have 15 reviews. Okay, remember at the top, right at the top here, I told you you need to at least minimum have 15 reviews. So those reviews, people should be able to see it down here. Okay, now I'm not sure if this is going to work or if it's going to you know, actually show, but let's see. Hopefully it works. Anyway, you're gonna see it in the video. Okay, now the next element that I like to have is an FAQ section. Okay, so remember, guys, when because we're selling online, right, we need to be very I guess sensitive to the fact that people don't understand the product like we do, right? We are the founders, we know our products back, left, right, like the back of our hand, right? But they don't. Okay, so what you need to do is, I would highly recommend you to, when you have your product, kind of sit down and think about all of the questions that people have had regarding your specific product, right? How long does it last? What kind of money back guarantee do you have? How long is shipping, right? What is it made of? Where is it made? Where does it ship out from? How quickly will it ship? All of these kinds of things that are specifically related to the product. Okay, so let's continue to show you what it looks like. So again, another row, right? And you can either do it 2 ways. I generally just like to have like frequently asked questions, right? Something like this. Boom, just like that. I'm gonna make this bigger. Boom. All right, now here what you want to do is you want to use an accordion style, and I'm going to make this note here for you guys in red. Accordion style, right? So like you guys, I don't know if you guys understand what an accordion is, but as an accordion expands and closes, right, we want to show like all of the reviews, the frequently asked questions, but we want to make sure that they can press on it and expand it. So this is an accordion style, all right? So this is actually the example that I'm going to be walking you guys through later. But nonetheless, let's continue through, okay? So you want to have an accordion style. So you're going to have the questions. And let me just change this. Okay. Question number 1. What is it made of, right? Just as an example, it's going to be something like this. It's going to be bolded as well. Oops. Sorry, guys. It's going to be bolded as well. And also you're going to have this little button that kind of tells them that they can press it and expand it. All right. Like so. Got it? I'm going to make that super thick. Like that. All right. Great. So you want to repeat this for as many questions as possible, right? And as you guys continue to sell, you will inevitably, right, get more and more questions, right? So as you get more questions, you want to add it in here, because when a customer asks a certain question that, has never been asked before, you want to make sure that you give them the details, all right? Because you never want people to not buy just because they don't understand something, okay? Now the next section, right, is pretty much, we're nearly there, guys, so please bear with me. I know this is a long lesson. This is a money back guarantee, right? So again, I've talked about risk reversals, right? We want to give the customer assurance, right? We want to reassure the customer that whenever something happens, if they're going to buy online, if something happens, they have a money back guarantee that they can pretty much utilize to get their money back, okay? So we want to be very, very clear here, all right? So I'm going to take this and just make it look like this, right? I'm going to leave it up to you guys to create the money back guarantee. But this is essentially what it will look like, okay? Just like that. Perfect. Great. All right. Money back guarantee. You can have like some more trust badges here, something like that. Regardless. All right. The next thing is this is the last element of the web page, of the landing page. So I know that we've covered a lot here, guys. We have a huge video here, right? Now, the last element is pretty much just wrapping it all up, right? Just like the finale of a really well themed movie, right? We need to have the finale, okay? So this is where you have your product, just talking, the last kind of thing. So like, are you ready to lose weight today, right? So this is an example of an emotive headline. So we kind of want like an emotive headline to wrap it all up, right? Make it really big, okay? And this is, again, it's similar to the buy box, right? We want to show, right? We want to remind the customer of all the benefits that they're going to get, right? So for example, you're going to have, your product image, like one of your killer product images here, right? We're also going to have some text. So something like this. We're going to have some text to kind of like wrap it all up nicely, right? Kind of be motivational, all that kind of stuff, right? You also want to have your call to action buttons and your social proof, right? Social proof number 1, like this. Just extend this out. Okay. So remember, guys, don't use both money back guarantee and the secure checkout. Use one or the other, all right? Just want to make sure that you guys are fully clear on that. Okay. Then again, social proof here. So when another thing about this social proof, guys, is when they click on the button, they should naturally go all the way back to the review plugin. Okay, so just make sure that you have that, and we'll have videos showing you exactly how to do that. But just in this video, I want to show you guys the wireframe. All right, and then finally, the second piece of social proof that we had up here, right? We want to just wrap it all up in a nice little bow and just have it like that. All right, so that is, guys, my landing page formula that I always use, and this is like pretty much if you guys have an amazing product, there's a good product market fit, then this product landing page template will work for you, right? Because this is just all good core conversion rate optimization tactics that you guys can utilize. Now, obviously, with this second testimonial here, you want to change it up. You know, try to use a different avatar, another image of a person, right? But this is it, guys. So let's quickly go through, wrap it all up, right, for you guys, and then I'm going to show you guys an example of how this works. So this is definitely going to be an hour-long lesson, right? So the buy box, remember, guys, the buy box is the first thing that people see, right? There are a few things that we want to draw people's attention. This is where we grab their attention, okay? So if you guys are aware of the AIDA principle, you guys probably have been noticing that I have been using the AIDA principle. So let me quickly wrap this up for you. These images here are super important. We need to be very intentional about the images that we use here, right? Let's quickly go through the 5 different types of images / videos that you want to use. Number 1, standard e-commerce photos. Your product, high quality images on a white background. Number 2, happy customers that fit your avatar using or wearing your product, right? Number 3, which is a kind of like follow on from number 2, product in action, show the details, right? Number 3, unboxing footage, show the details. Okay, unboxing footage, we want to leave no stone unturned for them, right? We want to allow them to know exactly what they're going to get, right? So unboxing footage and product packaging, if you guys have amazing product packaging, show it off. Okay, this is all assets that increase the perceived value of your customers. Okay, number 5, a video of product in use. Okay, very, very important, right? Then this section's here, you are going to have a headline, right? Emotive headline or product name. Make sure it is congruent, right? So people know exactly what they're seeing right from the get-go. Then you're going to lead with your price, right? And then social proof number 1. Next is going to be a quick elevator pitch about your product. What are the main things that they need to know? Or you can split test with a checkpoint kind of dot point, USP 1, USP 2, USP 3, and also finally a risk reversal. The next section down here is going to be where they can choose the different bundles. So this is an average order optimization tactic where you can show them bundle 1, bundle 2, bundle 3, and as they buy, bundle 2, bundle 3, they're going to get a discount, right? So I highly recommend you guys to utilize something like this. Next section is going to be the quantity, how many of each item that they want. This is going to be, this green button here is going to be a call to action. Make sure that, like this green button here, it stands out like a sore thumb, all right? You want to make sure it is a different color from the main color you are using on the page. Next, what you want to do is you want to have some sort of trust badges or some sort of reassurance to the customer that they're not going to get scammed. All right, so either test 100% money back guarantee or a secure checkout. This section right here is going to be social proof number 2. Okay, social proof number 2 is essentially just a review. Use a natural looking image. Do not use a modeled photo. The next section moving down is further social proof, right? Where if you have any publications or if you've been listed in publications, definitely use this as featured in. Remember, guys, try to be as ethical as possible. If you have not been featured, don't use it, obviously, right? If you guys have been featured, use it, and then subsequently follow down with the main USP icons. If you guys haven't been featured, just lead with the USPs icon section here. Okay, so USP 1, use an icon, get it graphically designed, or go to iconpicker.com and get it there. All right, so headline 1, just quickly tell them what it is, 1 to 2, 3 lines elaborating on the headline. Okay, now next, what we're going to have is showing them how it works, right? So this section is really important. We want to show them that it's simple, right? And we want to have like a step 1, step 2, step 3. Again, here, we want to have some text that explains it and also an image that pretty much showcases how it's going to work. Then we want to have our call to action, social proof, and risk reversals right here, because we want to have this call to action scattered all throughout the page, so that as people get more and more convinced when they watch and they go through our page, they're going to want to buy. Okay, we want to give them always easy access to the button to purchase. All right, so the next section is going through the benefits of your product. So feature, USP, benefit 1, benefit 2, benefit 3, right? Remember, guys, this is the rule of threes, right? Your image grabs the attention, your headline kind of reaffirms what they think and kind of reshapes what they have thought, and kind of like focuses their attention. And the section underneath, the text, is going to pretty much elaborate on your feature, right? It's going to wrap it all up. Okay, so they all work in unison with one another. All right. And just repeat that for benefit number 2, benefit number 3. All right, then you're going to have again your call to action, social proof, risk reversals. Right, the next section is going to be what's in the box. Right, so what's in the box? This is a curated photo where you have a flat lay of everything nicely laid out, right? Showing them what they're going to receive, right? Remember, we want to focus on the details here. What's in the box is the headline, and you want to give them the information that let them know exactly what they're going to get, all right? Now we're moving on to the desire section, right? So remember, we are social creatures. We always have FOMO, all right? So this is where we have social proof. So don't just take our word for it. We have testimonial number 1, testimonial number 2, testimonial number 3, right? Continuing on, this is where we have our review plugin. Remember, guys, you want to have a minimum of 15 reviews, guys. You need to have this, okay? So make sure that you definitely have that. Moving on, we want to have this frequently asked questions in the accordion style. This is pretty much one of the most important parts of the your product page, because you will not want a customer to not buy just because, right, they have an unanswered question. So remember, continue to build out this frequently asked questions section, right? Always build it out, because the more questions you can answer on the page, the higher chance that they're actually going to convert. Okay, moving on, we have the money back guarantee section. This is where you have the risk reversal. If they go ahead and buy, are they going to get their money back? Are they going to get their product? What if they don't like the product? Is their money safe? This is pretty much what we want to do. We want to reassure them that their money is safe, they can trust us, and they're going to love us. All right. Finally, this is where the crescendo comes, right? This is where we wrap it all up. We have the emotive headline to wrap it all up, right? We have the image, like a really emotive image, showing them the benefits of the product. Really happy customers, guys. Remember, whenever you're showing people on this page, make sure that they are happy. They need to be happy, because people, when you see happy people, it's contagious. They're gonna want it. They're gonna want to join in on the fun. All right. Next, we want some text to kind of wrap it all up. Then we want to have our call to action, show social proof number 1, risk reversal. Then social proof number 2, make sure that this testimonial is different from everything else on the page. All right, guys, so that is our behemoth of my landing page design that I always use, right? Now, in the subsequent lessons, we will go into more depth of why each element is so important. However, I think that this is going to be more than enough. It's an hour-long video talking about this wireframe that I've built up over the multiple 7 years and generated multiple 7 figures with this, right? So definitely go ahead, soak it all in, right? If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. But let's quickly go through a example of this, and let me show you exactly how these guys utilize it, all right? So let's go all the way up to the top, okay? All right, let me get my trusty little pen out, and I'm going to show you guys exactly. So again, images are looking great, right? You're showing the images, and what they're doing here is they're showing the details, right? Showing the details, right? Feel 2 times cleaner, right? They're showing the antimicrobial bamboo or brass knob, right? They're showing the videos, right? How easy it is, right? All of these kinds of stuff. Next, we're going to have our headline that is very easily understandable, right? They have gone with just a quick statement, the freshest way to clean your bum, right? Just a statement, that's good too, right? Reviews, 6.7 thousand reviews, amazing. They're going to have their price here. They're going to have a quantity. So here, what they've opted for is they've just given people the option of buying 1 bidet or 2 bidets, right? So as you can see, if they buy 2 bidets, the price changes. This add to cart section, the price changes. Again, it's average order value optimization, right? And they're saying that it's best value because you're going to get $90 off. And that's reflected in this section right here. All right. Then we're going to have like, they also have some like elevator pitch right here. Remember guys, this is all just a template. You guys can play around with it. Again, here they're pretty much showing that even though it's a little bit expensive, you definitely can buy it today just with 4 interest-free installments of $24. So it's a risk reversal, right? Or like some sort of assurance that they can actually afford it. This section here is just for, you know, attention grabbing purposes, right? But let's continue through. This is where they're getting their social proof, rated the #1 bidet attachment, right? Social proof. USPs, product features, like the USP, I guess they're going a little bit more into it, right? They just chose to have product features, but remember, this is where we kind of start. USP #1, it's easy to install, installs in 8 minutes, all right? How to use it, all right? Do your do, turn the knob, find the perfect angle, right? Make it very simple. Image, headline, you know, text to wrap it all together. All right, continue through. With the spray of a tushy, you'll be joining over 500,000 revolutionaries who are collectively saving, you know, this is another USP, right? Pretty much saying there's an environmental positive impact by buying this. Okay, so that is powerful. This is pretty much what the anatomy, they're pretty much just showing all the details, right? And showing how easy it is to install the product as well, right? So step 1, step 2, step 3, very simple. Here we go. This is the desire section where we're showing reviews. Okay, so again, right? Image, headline, you know, the person, right? Boom. Different avatars, guys. Remember, we want to make sure that the avatars or the images that we use reflect the people that are going to be interested in this product. So see how they are choosing different age types, different race types as well, different genders, right? All this kinds of stuff. So be very aware and cognizant of that. Then this is where you can look through all of their reviews, right? 6,700 reviews, amazing. We also have the frequently asked questions in the accordion style, like so, right? This is the accordion style. You can get all of this from using page builders. They've gone a little bit further ahead and given you guys the option of going to collections. I generally don't like to do this because I want, when people jump off social media onto my page, I want to give them 0 exits. I want to either they buy the product or they get out of the page and they do not buy the product. I don't want them to go onto a different page on my website, right? This is kind of counterintuitive. Again, here they're just doing some risk reversal. Here 100% money guaranteed, right? And they're saying like, if you don't like it, we have your backside, right? Just reach out to us and we'll help, right? And that's it. Join the club, get 10% off, right? But one thing you've also noticed is that they have a sticky add to cart button here. So this thing here is following them all the way through the page, right? From here. So this call to action is always available and it's very easily noticeable because it's a different color to every other color that they use on the page. All right. So I know that this was a huge video, guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed this one. But these are all the different tactics and all the different things that I have personally used to generate so much like revenue over e-commerce. And I know that this is going to provide a lot of value for you guys as well. All right. So I hope, without further ado, guys, if you guys have any questions, right, don't hesitate to reach out. In terms of action steps, definitely review this video multiple times over. Understand the principles of this. Start playing around and getting familiar with the rule of 3, right, in terms of image, headline, paragraph to like wrap it all together, right? Definitely jump onto a page builder, right, and start playing with rows, right? So that's the second action step, right? Start playing with the page builder, get familiar with it. There are multiple. There's Pagefly, there's Gem pages, there's Shogun pages, and then there's also Zipify pages that I do recommend, right? Play around with it, rewatch this video, get familiar with the concepts of social proof, right? Risk reversals, call to actions, right? USPs, like all of these things, really kind of narrow it down. The final thing that I would say as an action point that you want to do is get your product in front of you, right? Get your product, right? Let's say it's my phone, right? And with your with your product, go through all of the potential, I guess, objections that your customer will potentially have, and start filling out your FAQs, your frequently asked questions. That's very, very important, guys. Okay, so that is the final action step. I hope you guys really enjoyed this behemoth of a video, and I'm sure that we'll have questions. So I will catch you guys in the DMs as well as the live calls. All right, guys, peace.